Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of simPRO Chats with Daz and Adz. My name's Adam, I'm from AMAC Consulting. My partner in crime, as always, on the other side of the screen
is Daz, and I'm from Platinum Consultants. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to be back again. Episode 3, I think, back on our comeback tour.
Yes, the band is back together for one last show. No,
it's not one last show. There'll be a few shows.
No, it'll be more like Farnham.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of last shows.
There'll be lots of last shows. Mate.
No, we believe we'll be doing this for years and years to come, or at least we hope to be. So thank you for your support over these years, and we look forward to more.
Absolutely. Well, let's get cracking with this one, man. So we've just covered off the updates to simPRO Mobile since our sabbatical. So we're now going to change to simPRO Enterprise. So we're now we kind of went through all the feature releases over the last 12 months again for simPRO Enterprise. We realized there was a lot. So the last session for simPRO Mobile was split in half. We're actually going to split this one into thirds. So this is going to be part 1 of a part 3 of a 3-part release for simPRO Enterprise. So we don't really have any logical sequence with these. We've just kind of done a big brain dump of all the feature releases. So we're just going to go from top to bottom with our list, and we're going to start with updated colors. So do you want to start explaining what updated colors means, Daz? Because this one, for a nerd like me, actually, I might take this one because this is really excited me.
Go for it, Adz. I loved it. That's why I put an exclamation point. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. So for a nerd like me, my whole office is just one big like computer RGB party where I've just got colors going everywhere. So for me, this one was really good because previously what you had to do in simPRO was just use this stupid little slider to try and figure out what color, you should try and make each green the same green. And I also have a bit of an OCD, so trying to get all the greens to match up with the same green was always a real nightmare. So what they've done with like statuses is they've actually released an RGB or a hex code color. So you can now kind of put in a red, green, blue number from 0 to 255 to then pick your colors. So you can basically make all the reds the same red. You can make all the yellows the same yellow. You can make all the oranges the same orange. All the schnozberries taste like schnozberries. It's great. That's pretty much what you can do now. And for someone with OCD, that was really important for me to be able to get all the colors to look the exact same.
And can I add a couple of extra things? So just for people that haven't seen it below, there's actually, when you click on a color, so let's say it's a status code or something that you're changing the color for, then what you can do is actually, there's a little up and down arrow. So you can change it from RGB to HSL or hex. So hex is very common. Never heard of HSL before, but there you go. And the RGB obviously is 3 independent digits. But if you've got a hex, you click the little up and down arrow down the bottom, you can change it. And you can also do a color picker. So if you've got something on the screen that you want to pick, it also works really well. So they've done a good job with that execution. But added to that, we can do white and we can do black and we can do brown and we can do gray, which were previously completely unselectable, unattainable colors. So it's given us not only a whole lot more individual colors, but also, very clear and clean, separate colors. Black, white, brown, and gray is quite different than yellows and blues and yellows, blues, oranges, reds, greens, pinks, etc. So I was excited about that too. It's added to the list of colors, and we can be like 100% accurate with all our greens and reds and oranges. Fantastic.
It's pretty cool, Daz.
I think it's very cool.
The little things in life that get your juices flowing, like being able to make all the yellows the same yellow. Like who would have?
Yeah.
Ever important for anyone.
Yep. Absolutely. Completely agree.
What's next on our list, boss? I just spent about 3 minutes gloating about an RGB. What do we got?
So we've got address autocomplete. So some people love it, some people don't. I'll give you a quick tip. When you're entering an address in a site, customer also for an address that hey Tiff, address that you might be putting into an employee. You can actually use a search and it'll actually search through. It works really well. There are some new suburbs that hasn't been updated yet. What I would suggest though, with regards to lot numbers or unit numbers or floor numbers, leave them out, search the street address, select it, and then manually add the unit number, the suite number, the floor number afterwards. And that tends to work a little bit better. But it is good because, again, for all the people that like consistency in a database, it means that your addresses are all going to be entered exactly the same way. Capitals, street names, not, do you shorten the street with ST, or do you type street, or, is it all capital suburbs? Now, if everyone's using the auto address complete, then it's going to be consistent throughout.
Totally. I did find one little bug with it though. I don't know if it's been fixed or not, but if you use the autofill feature, it stuffs up the STCs. It doesn't actually zone the site with the STCs.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm not sure whether that's been fixed or not, but if you are in the solar world, just be careful, because if you do use that, because how the STCs always worked in simPRO was when you select when you type in the suburb and you select the state, it then puts in the postcode. But because the postcode's not linked to the state that's selected, it's coming from a pre-pop field, it never did the STCs correctly. So just a word of advice, if you are in the solar world, I did find that played funny buggers from time to time.
So would a workaround be to delete one letter out of the suburb and put it back in so it auto finds?
Yeah,
again?
so just
postcode.
Get rid of the state, then reselect the state, or delete the postcode out, then reselect the state. So that way it puts a postcode back in and picks up the STC zone. I mean, it's not a big deal, but just something to take into consideration.
Good tip. Good tip.
Next one, enabling and disabling editing of main pre-builds. Okay, so this is needs to be enabled within the security groups. So if you've never really done this in the security groups, please jump in and rejig them just to make this work. But basically what this allows you to do, if you're inside of a quote or a job and you've added a pre-build into it, if you go to click that pre-build, you'll now actually have a drop-down box in the top right-hand corner, which is an edit box. So when you're editing the pre-build, you get to select whether you're just doing like a temporary edit for the single one-off quote or the one-off job, or if you're permanently editing that pre-build moving forward. Really nice little feature. It just it's a fail safe to ensure that people don't accidentally muck up your pre-builds that you've spent so long working on.
Yep. So this may have had something to do with me trying to get this feature in for a very long time. The reason it was so important to me and a lot of customers that I work with is because they spend hours and hours and hours creating these pre-builds. They are masterpieces when you see some of them. Amazing things. They've got photos, they've got descriptions, they've got every single item, nut, bolt, and screw you could possibly need. Somebody clicks on it, accidentally clicks the wrong button, and they edit the original pre-build. Now, finding which pre-builds are possibly edited out of 3,000 or more pre-builds that some people have is difficult. And if you've edited the main pre-build, then you go and create a new quote with that pre-build. If you accidentally did some damage to it, like removed an item or swapped out an item, every quote from then forward is not going to have that item in. So what you can do is you can protect your main pre-builds. So you untick it so that nobody else can edit the main pre-build. They can only edit it on the quote. So that makes it really safe. I mean, you can stop them from editing on the quote as well, but at least if they need to edit it on the quote, you can give them access, but you ban them from accessing your original pre-build. If they need a new pre-build created, maybe you get them to come to you, something like that. So I think that's a really good feature. Thank you, Wayne.
It's pretty handy. So do you want to take the next one, Daz, or do you want me to take this one?
I talked about the last one for a fair while after you talked about it, so I think it's your turn. Let's
go with timesheet locks. So you can lock your timesheets down within that timesheets area if you've obviously got access to it again through the security groups. So what it will basically do is just kind of lock any unlocked timesheets from what I understand. I've never really, I'll be honest, it's not something that I've really played with too extensively, just because it's just not really something that's really come up.
Want me to add to that a little bit?
Yeah, please do.
So I did a little bit of testing with it because I've got a few customers who really wanted a feature like that. It is actually a super duper feature. Platinum feature.
A platinum feature.
No pun intended. So basically what it does is it locks down all scheduled time blocks, not just with a right-click lock, but actually locks them down administrator level so that no mobile device and no employee can edit any time blocks before a certain date. So let's say you've just processed the timesheets for the last 2 weeks or the last week or whatever it is. You know that the time that's on the schedule is correct and that's what they're going to get paid. You can actually lock the timesheets down so that they cannot be edited. And if you try and put a time block in or change a time block from the mobile app, which you were able to do at any time for any job forever, it will actually come up with a message saying this time block has been locked by the administrator, which means you'd have to speak to your accounts person in order to edit it. Yeah, fantastic feature, because people would come back the week later and go, I didn't get paid enough. And they would edit their time blocks. It changes job profitability. And then they go, oh, well, you didn't pay me enough. Look, my timesheet's done now. Too late, mate. You didn't get it done on time. So that's already been and gone. Just a tip there.
Can you not add new time blocks to a period of time that's then been locked down?
You cannot add any time block or edit any time block at all before a certain date based on when you enter this date in. So in order to enable it, almost all builds, unless you've specifically gone in or you've got a new build that's just been created, if you did your security groups, 6 months ago or more, you wouldn't even know this feature exists. So go into your security group, go into the scheduling area, and there's a special tick box specifically for locking and unlocking timesheets. This should be given to the payroll officer or, office admin who's in charge of that. It is legitimately a full lock that nobody can edit going forward. So you have to make sure everyone's got their timesheets in, everybody's legitimately put everything in that's going to be done. Of course, you can unlock it, make a quick fix up and lock it again, but only you, not from the mobile, not from anywhere else, unless you've got that special master access. Love it. I think
need the master key to unlock it. So I would think that this would probably be like a step one of being able to integrate simPRO and zero timesheets.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Because that is coming out at some stage. I think this would be a really good first positive step towards being able to get them to talk to each other.
I mean, once you've actually paid people based on the timesheets in simPRO, fantastic that you should be able to lock it.
Yeah, exactly right. You shouldn't be able to go in and edit the periods of time if it has already been locked down.
Yep.
Cool. All righty. That is a pretty nifty feature, Daz. You've sold me on it, mate. So the next one is the scheduler date. So I'm just going to kind of group these all together as scheduling updates, I guess.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of go through them one by one because we've already been going for about 13 minutes now. So we'll kind of scoot through some of these. So I'll start with the scheduling day view. We've now got the ability to be able to cycle through the days just by sliding the rocker left and right to be able to go through previous months and forward months. There is now also a little thing that says go to next month, as well as being able to click on the day, which you've always been able to do. Click on today's date, which then brings up a little calendar. So you can then click on whatever date that you want. That's always been there, but it's now a little bit more obvious as you're kind of using that rocker left and right to slide the days forward and back. What's the next one, Daz? Non-static settings. What's that mean?
So previously, when you got towards the end of the month and you're actually hovering between the 31st and the 1st, you'd have to go the next month and then go back to the 1st of that month, which was painful.
That was always a pain in the ass. I never understood why, if you're on the 20th and you click next month, it took you to the 20th. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So now what it does is it centers on the current date. So if you click on the first of the month, it'll put the first of the month in the middle and you'll see half of last month and half of next month in there. So it works really well. Just be careful when you're clicking around because it keeps recentering. So you can lose track of what week you're on because it shifts the view a little bit every time you click the button. But it's good. People wanted that for a really long time. I think that works quite well.
Yeah. That's probably, these are like the first few updates to the scheduler that I've seen in 10 years, give or take. Like from version 10 to 11 to 12, you want to think of it like that. If you're going back that far with your simPRO, usage, really nothing's changed in the scheduler for quite some time.
Yep, I agree. Admin adjust clock on, clock off. What does that do?
That one.
So admin can now override the clock on and clock off that's done from the mobile app.
Mm-hmm.
So before, people would quite often forget to clock on at the beginning of the day if you are using that feature, and or clock off. At least now it can be overridden and edited through the schedule by admin. And again, that's something else that can only be edited if the timesheet lock, allows you to do that from before. Now, you probably noticed I've just changed a few of the colors of the things that we're going to discuss. We've hit 15 minutes. I reckon it's a good idea to call it quits there as part 1 comes to an end.
Might
Thanks
even
again, everybody.
4-part episode.
It might be.
Ramble 4.
We never had a problem of filling time. We never have that problem. Squeezing into a short time period, that seems to be our issue.
Yeah. Cool.
So thank you, everyone. Hopefully we've given you a few ideas on how to use these features. Hopefully, if you haven't noticed or haven't gone looking for them, there's quite a few here that you actually need to turn on. And even if you've just been using simPRO for ages and you've never got around to adjusting the colors, now's as good a time as any. Put some awesome
go make all your reds the same red.
Yes.
Make all your greens the same green.
You've wanted to for a long time. Exactly.
It'll change your life.
It certainly will.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Okay.
Right. Well, let's sign off. Okay, so thanks for watching. Again, Adam from AMAC Consulting. You can catch me at info@amac.consulting.
And I'm Daz from Platinum Consultants. Darren at platinumconsultants.com.au.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you again for joining in, and we'll see you next episode for maybe part 2 or part 3. We're not quite sure which part it's going to be, but we'll be back with some more updates anyway.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.